The observation vessel * Stellar Curiosity * had been monitoring Earth for 3 standard cycles. Commander Vex stood on the bridge, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence as he watched the main view screen. His species, the Lorendi, had discovered the human civilization 2 years prior and had been studying them discreetly ever since. The Galactic Council had strict protocols about first contact, and Earth was deemed too primitive for formal introduction to the interstellar community. "Commander, I believe you should see this," called Science Officer Pell, her voice tinged with the musical quality typical of her speech pattern. "We've detected unusual construction activity on the coastal regions." Vex strode over to her station. "Military installations." "Uncertain," replied Pell, her antennae twitching. "The structures appear temporary. They're made from sediment." "Sediment?" Vex's scales shifted color slightly, indicating confusion. "Show me." The view on the screen changed to display a sandy beach on Earth. Small human forms moved about, bending down to gather handfuls of sand and piling it into shapes. Some structures had rudimentary walls, others had towers with pointed tops. "They're building fortifications from sand," Vex said, his voice rising. "That's absurd. Such material would never withstand attack." "It appears to be a ritual of some kind," said Pell. "The humans, particularly the younger ones, seem to be engaged in this activity across many coastal regions during their warm season." Vex ordered a closer observation team to investigate. The ship deployed 3 small drones, each no bigger than an Earth insect, to hover near a particularly active beach. Tom wiped sweat from his brow as he carefully patted wet sand onto the northern tower of his castle. His daughter Lisa giggled beside him, her small hands digging a moat around their creation. "Do you think we need a drawbridge, Dad?" she asked, blue eyes wide with excitement. "Absolutely," Tom replied with a smile. "Every proper castle needs a drawbridge." They had been working on their sandcastle for nearly 2 hours. It had 4 towers, walls with crenellations, and now a deepening moat. Other families dotted the beach, some building their own sand structures, others swimming or sunbathing. In the shimmering heat above the sand, 3 nearly invisible drones recorded everything. "This is remarkable," said Medical Officer Drell, who had joined Vex and Pell on the bridge. "They're creating detailed replicas of their ancient defensive structures for amusement." "That can't be right," Vex insisted. "There must be some practical purpose." The 3 Lorendi watched as the human adult taught the smaller human techniques for shaping the sand. They used primitive tools, plastic containers, small shovels, and their own appendages. "Notice how they add water to make the sediment more cohesive," Pell observed. "It's quite ingenious, actually." "But it's temporary," Vex said, still confused. "The tide will erase it within hours." Drell's eyes blinked in rapid succession. "Perhaps that's the point," he suggested. "The impermanence is part of the experience." Lisa squealed with delight as she placed a small flag made from a stick and napkin atop the highest tower. "It's perfect," she declared. "Best castle ever." Tom beamed with pride at their creation. It wasn't the largest sandcastle on the beach, but it had character. Windows carved with seashell edges, towers with spiral staircases marked in the sand, and small stones arranged to look like a cobblestone courtyard. "Should we take a picture before the tide comes in?" Tom asked. Lisa nodded enthusiastically. "Yes, and then can we build another one tomorrow?" "Of course," Tom promised, pulling out his phone to capture their temporary masterpiece. Back on the Stellar Curiosity *, the command crew had called an emergency meeting. Representatives from various scientific departments crowded around the conference table, all watching replays of the sandcastle construction. This behavior suggests a cultural valuation of process over product, theorized cultural specialist Mick. They invest significant effort in something they know will be destroyed. Perhaps it's a philosophical statement, offered philosopher Tej, a meditation on the transience of existence. Vex's scales had shifted to a deep blue of concern. Could it be military training? Teaching the young to build defensive structures quickly with limited resources? "I believe it's much simpler," said Pell quietly. Her voice caused the others to turn toward her. "They're playing." "Playing," repeated Vex. "Yes, creating for the joy of creation. They derive pleasure from the act itself and from sharing the experience with their offspring. The conference room fell silent as the aliens contemplated this idea. But resources on their world are finite, said Vex finally. Why would they expend energy on something with no lasting value? Perhaps that's what we should be studying, Drell suggested. This ability to find value in experiences rather than just outcomes. To create knowing that creation will be erased. The Lorendi watched as a wave, larger than the previous ones, crept up the beach and began to dissolve the outer wall of Tom and Lisa's sandcastle. Tom saw Lisa's face fall as the tide began to claim their creation. "It's okay, sweetheart," he said, putting his arm around her shoulders. "That's part of building sandcastles. They're not meant to last forever. But we worked so hard," she said, a hint of tears in her eyes. "We had fun doing it, right? Plus, we have pictures to remember it. And tomorrow, the beach will be fresh again for us to build something even better." Lisa considered this, then nodded. "Next time, let's make a sand dragon instead of a castle. That sounds awesome," Tom agreed. "Now, how about some ice cream?" As they walked away from their disintegrating creation, 3 nearly invisible drones recorded the sandcastle's final moments as it returned to the formless beach. In orbit, Vex made a decision. "Update our report to the council," he ordered. "Humans demonstrate remarkable creativity and resilience. They possess a unique ability to find joy in impermanence and value in process. Recommend extended observation period before any contact consideration." As the Stellar Curiosity prepared to move to a different observation position, Vex found himself staring at the image of the dissolving sandcastle. For the first time in his long career, he wondered if perhaps there was something to learn from this seemingly primitive species after all.